In case you're wondering what this thing is for, it's for chopping off someone's head. Hey, it's MeloCat. I raise 7 cats in a small flat while I get to be a cheapskate travel rat, exploring less conventional places around the world. If you're into animals, budget travel, adventures, or explorations, hit that subscribe and also hit on that bell. It's a Hanoi tourist attraction. This place is called the Hoa Lo Prison. Can't say it's a museum for the faint-hearted. This word actually meant central house. It's more like a euphemism. I don't know if this was done on purpose, but it looks like a gravestone. Everyone I asked, they said in Hanoi, places to visit, this is definitely one of them. But if anything, the booklet actually costs almost as much as the ticket. If you know what these are, you're old school like me. So the stuff here, actually the audio guide, it comes in English and French. English and French. My God, I forgot my French from school. This place is called the Hanoi Hilton or the Heartbreak Hotel. How ironic, it's a freaking prison. This looks really heavy. What did I get myself into? Ugh. Whoa, do you see how thick these walls are? Wow, this place was built by the French in 1896 to hold some of the Vietnamese revolutionary fighters and also some of these American pilots when they shot down the fighter jets. I can't remember what these say, but they look a lot like tombstones. Well, it seems like shit's about to get real. Imagine spending years of your life in a place like this. Wow. Nope, not the happiest place in the world. This is actually the biggest prison cell. It's meant to keep a maximum of like 40 male prisoners by the French colony. 130 meters seems kind of big, but I guess it's not that big when you're here with like 40 other people. Oh God. Roommates. This place is suffocating, it's cold, it's dirty, and it smells like poop. Not to mention that it's overcrowded. Whoa, that's scary. So I was right, this place actually keeps up to 100 prisoners. And not only that, because 6 or 7 people actually escaped, so they actually sealed the windows behind me. That's crazy. And it took those families like 2 years to complain before they reopened those windows. Wow. Can you imagine a complaints department taking 2 years to process just so that you can breathe? Good Lord. Wow, times were hard here. Imagine like every day is like hard labor. You're cold, you're starving, you're away from your families. And this place is actually known as like hell on earth. The walls are like 4 meters high and like half a meter thick. And they made sure that nobody gets in, nobody gets out, which is already pretty scary. To top things off, the French actually made an effort to make sure that the materials are of really good quality so that, you really can't get out and that life is really gonna be shit in here. Crazy. But I'm thinking, right, as bad as it is for the prisoners, what is it like for the people that's working in here? Because they're in this environment too. And yeah, it's very solid. You just can't get out. Yeah, the locks are really huge. You can't get out for sure. God, I couldn't imagine. What's the escape rate for this place? As I visit more and more war museums from different countries, there's one thing that I noticed. It's kind of like a recurring theme, is the history that I hear from the suffering countries themselves and the stories that I hear from textbooks as I learned it in North America. There could be a discrepancy, which is very intriguing. Knowing what I know about being a prisoner at modern times, oh my God, I mean, back then, this sucks even more. People were basically eating like pig slide that's foul and probably contaminated, and they're also starving as well. Wow, what kind of life is this? I couldn't imagine. And for some of them, they actually have to make their own utensils because that's in shortage. Yep, those ones they made themselves because they're in shortage in the prison along with a lot of other stuff, I guess. Wow. Oh my God. And just when I thought seeing the picture was bad enough, there's this. I don't know what you guys think, but from my knowledge of prisons from modern days, it's nothing like this. But then that's only maybe how little I know, but wow, is this ever restrictive? If a person is sitting down like this and they can't move much, doesn't circulation get cut off? Or your limbs start to die? Okay, I guess here a lot of good aiming is needed so that you pee and poo in the right place. Ever notice there's no TVs, no nothing? Bam! This place looks so real, like with the prisoners and stuff, like sitting there. It's kind of creepy to look at. And look at, everyone had to share this one latrine. I can't even call it a squat toilet. Wow, this is crazy. So I get a feeling why they call this place hell on earth is because a lot of times these places are overcrowded. When this place is supposed to hold 500 people, they would actually hold up to 800 people. So a lot of people are freezing their ass off sleeping on the floor. Wow. The special dungeon? This part of the prison actually has another name. It's called the Hell of the Hell. Not only is this place even more stuffy, but it's actually dark, narrow, and it's got a lack of oxygen. So people are left by themselves here. They have really even worse food, electrolyte imbalances, and then they have swollen spots, swollenness and spots all over their body. And they get these things called scabies. Oh my God. Wow. So this guy doesn't look very happy. That is horrible. So this is when you're like mentally and physically suffering because you can't sit or stand comfortably. They lock you up with your legs higher than your head. That's what I was told. And you can't see daylight. You can't see people. You have electrolyte imbalances from the foods that they give you. And when people come out of these cells, they can't see or hear properly, just so you have an idea. Is that even a window? Crazy. So in their prisoners were basically confined in this really small space, can't move, their bodies hurt, their bones hurt, they're nutritionally deprived. All they were fed with rice with salt. And then they had, I think they had all sorts of nutrition deficiencies. They can't move. So basically, not only their body hurts, but there's like no circulation. They're barely alive. These people are like physically, psychologically, and nutritionally tortured. That's crazy. And oh, by the way, this place is for people who's actually misbehaved themselves within prison or like, I don't know, like attempted to escape. And I think this is one of the sewers that some of them climbed through underground in an attempt to escape. Wait, let me come back to this. They said this was a sewer, so that's where all the feces were. Okay, so I guess in order to escape, you have to cover yourself in poop and drown in urine. Ew. Oh, it feels like sunlight doesn't really get in that much. Hoa Lo Prison's walls, wow, really, 1/2 meter thick. This part of the prison I can't really remember. It's either these couples lived here together and then they had a kid together, or it was the guy that got locked up and she has a kid outside. I can't remember. But either way, this cell is very tiny, and I don't understand why they paint the bottom of these cells black. I think we've established that the living conditions is already very bad. One thing I don't really understand is they say that the prisoners sometimes go on hunger strikes. Now the thing is, if they're already being starved and the food quality is horrible, what good does it do if you go on a hunger strike to further starve yourself? Oh, good Lord, this place is not only stuffy, but it's really dark. Wow, this place is only 30 square meters and it's intended to keep 40 female prisoners and children. Is that bucket in the middle right there? That's an open latrine. Wow, crazy. And it's so stuffy here, it's not even funny. I can't even breathe in here. Air doesn't, you see the big windows, but air doesn't really come in. There's this like high walls behind there. This is probably the most serious part of the prison because this is where the guillotine is. And note how the floor to ceiling height is really high for a reason. You know, it's really weird. Like here, like the guillotine is right behind me. And the French actually made sure that people were really trained in that. It was really nicely designed with the prime materials that's going on. The reason why it's so high up is because there's a certain velocity that's needed so that they get one successful chop. Otherwise, if it's half-assed, that's even worse. Can you imagine you have to do like 2 beheadings? Ugh. I guess this place is not supposed to be designed for comfort after all. Even to look at is very disturbing. Waiting to die. I wonder what that feels like for a death row prisoner. Can't imagine. One thing I know for sure is that they're mentally pretty strong. Imagine you're waiting to die. These are not optimal places to sleep or even to survive. And in your remaining days, you're trying to educate as many people as possible, knowing that you're going to die like in a day or two. And you're doing whatever you can to keep those people alive for as long as possible so they can educate the next person, knowing that they themselves will also die for the same reason that you did. It actually makes me kind of think that kind of hardship compared to a lot of the hardships that us in, say, first world countries experience, that's nothing. Whatever problems we have right now, in comparison, it's really nothing. Wow, insane. It's just all these things that people go through here and physically before they go on death row. But yet these people are so courageous. They don't need to get drunk. They don't need to fill their stomachs. They're just gonna go to jail without a pardon because they feel that they didn't do anything wrong. And they use the remaining days to educate the remaining prisoners and also to give up their food to them. That's crazy. Wow, that's when you really like stand up for something like crazy and you take it to your grave. Wow, that's insane. That's quite admirable in a way, wow. There's public humiliation. Ugh. Some of these are actually torture devices, but they're not even going into detail because of how gruesome it is. What I've learned from this exhibition is that war sucks. I know that sounds like a given, but I can really feel it in here. So you actually look back in history and you see people like, you know, they post people like John Lennon and like, you know, a lot of Americans or even like Germans that were supporting this this war to end. Wow, so emotional. I have no part in this war, but somehow it just sucks. Like, you know, like here, I'll show you this paragraph that I see here. It's quite emotional. Am I the only person that my eyes start to water when I read to here? Am I the only one? See, MeloCat, I'm not a huge history a fan, or just because I don't know a lot about history, but wow, this is actually really emotional. You know, seeing all these people like standing up for what's right and fighting for freedom, and these other countries that are in support, and of course a lot of people that died in vain, you know, in support of the cause, is actually like really, really emotional. Like, I don't know, like I just tear up when I see stuff like that. This is the second part of the exhibit. Now, this is the part of the prison where the captured American pilots were housed, and it was said that they were treated quite well, but I don't really understand. They shot down the plane and then captured them, but they treated them well. That's the part of history that I don't understand. Like, why? Is it for bargaining? There's gotta be a reason for that, right? Alright, you guys, that's the end of my tour to the Hoa Lo Prison, also known as the Hanoi Hilton. It's a bit somber, a bit morbid, but also quite educational. And you have to come here for yourself to feel what it's like. And I didn't go into the intricate details so that I don't spoil it all for you guys. But there's one thing that I learned. Don't go to war. That was the Hoa Lo Prison. Hoa Lo actually means 火爐, like a fire furnace. The lesson I've learned is don't go to war, don't get in trouble, don't get arrested and thrown in jail. Yeah, so kids, be good, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? And I guess the old saying is right, make love, not war, right? Peace, yo, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.